Nobody warns you that friendships change when you become an adult. And not in a dramatic way. Nobody fights or nobody leaves, at least not all the time. You just look up one day and realize that you haven't actually seen your closest friends in months. Not because anything happened, but because nothing did. I want to talk you through how I watched that happen to my own friendships and what ended up saving some of the old ones, and the 3 years where I couldn't seem to make a single new one. And if this video helps, be sure to tap the like button so more people can find it. All right, so in college, I lived in a house with four other guys. And you know how everybody warned you that living with your friends will ruin your friendships? Well, it didn't. Not for this group. For 2 years, we basically never stopped hanging out. Somebody was always in the living room, always up for a midnight food run to Waffle House. We did everything together, and none of it took any planning at all. We just were there. Then it unwound so slowly that I almost didn't even notice. A couple of us got married, myself included, and slowly we just stopped living together because that's what happens when you get married. Real jobs showed up after college, the kind where you actually have to set alarms in the morning and not just sleep until whenever. Eventually, some kids came into the picture. Again, nobody fought. There was no massive falling out. We just slowly stopped. By last year, getting the group back together felt like a small miracle. And after hanging out once for the first time in forever, one of my buddies said, "Hey, let's pick a date and put this on the calendar so we can do it again." And honestly, I hated that. It made me feel old. We were too young to need a calendar to just be friends. We should just be able to hang out. But here's the truth: if we hadn't put a date on the calendar, it wouldn't have happened again. So now, every time we hang out, we plan the next one before anybody leaves. It still feels a little ridiculous sometimes, but it also works. As it turns out, friendships do come with a maintenance schedule now. But now the harder half of this. At one point, I moved 8 hours away from where this friend group was and lived there for about 3 years. And in those 3 years, I didn't make a single friend. Not for lack of trying. I joined a disc golf club, I went to small groups, and every single time it just felt awkward. Everybody my age already had their people and their routines. Their calendars were full before I had ever showed up. So nobody had room to build something new with a stranger. In the shared spaces that hand you friends when you're young, the dorm hallway, the dining hall, those don't really exist for adults with real jobs who want to be in bed at a decent hour. Even when you find something close, you're walking in alone, trying to start conversations with people who didn't come there to meet anybody, but just to hang out with their friends. And so nothing clicked for 3 years. The moment it really hit me was so ordinary. I had a movie pass to the local theater, a couple free movies a month, and one night I used it to go see one of the new Marvel movies, Thor, Love and Thunder. In college, that was a group event. The five of us never missed a Marvel release. This time, I was sitting there in the dark by myself, and somewhere before the credits, it landed on me. I didn't have one solid friend in that whole state, let alone a group. It took me way too long to understand what was actually going on. I hadn't gotten worse at friendship. Proximity had just been doing all of the work before, and nobody warned me that the free part ends. School handed me people every single day for most of my life, and then it just stopped, and nothing really replaced it. So here's the one thing I tell you: at some point, friendships stop being something that happens to you and become something that you have to build on purpose. The awkwardness isn't a sign you're failing at it, it's the price of admission now, and everybody around you is paying it too. That coworker you get along with doesn't know how to make a friend either. Somebody has to go first. So send the text. Pick the date before everybody leaves the room. I used to think needing a calendar meant the friendship was dying. Turns out the calendar is how it stays alive. But that's what I've got for today. If you're in the lonely stretch right now, the awkward invite is worth sending this week. And thanks for being here. And if you want to know why you say yes to everything once you finally do have the people around you, I made a video on exactly that. It's right here.